Okay, hi everyone. I have a little sound issue, so I hope this time it will be good. Today it's a bit different, and I apologize towards the people who are crazy about bourbons. I'm super late covering a lot of bourbons, I know that. I'll do my best. I forgot to mention it in my channel news video, I think. I just mentioned one or two, but to cover more US whiskies as much as possible. The United States is the theme, so you can see maybe a little wink, because I am supposed to be still a painter, and my painting has been not only but a lot influenced by American painting. So behind me we have Willem de Kooning, yes, from Netherlands origins, but a great American painter, Willem de Kooning. You have Ellsworth Kelly, which is not only a painter but also a sculptor, big name. Up there you have Sam Francis from the West Coast, this time of the United States, Santa Monica, and of course one of my god of paintings, if I may say, as well, Mark Rothko, one of the true leaders of the New York School of painting, abstract painting in the 1950s. Well, Ellsworth Kelly is a bit later. Also abstract expressionism, you have, like I said, de Kooning. You can put Sam Francis in there, but it's another school than those two. Well, we're not here to speak about painting, right? But just I wanted to do this wink. I will also put a link below in the description, because I already covered quite some American whiskies in my website, and sometimes also on my channel. So I'll put a link below to some reviews. Today it's Blanton's Day, so Buffalo Trace distillery, Sazerac owned, and the iconic bottle with the horse rider on top. There's a whole story about this, but I'm gonna try to be as short as possible, but still giving you some insight. So hope I'm come across well, because I'm starting to have some trouble on so this is the original. We're gonna start by this one, the tasting, the original single barrel. We're here to speak about Kentucky Straight Bourbon whiskey. Okay, we have also the gold edition. It's also a single barrel. All are single barrels, by the way. And we will finish with the straight from the barrel that I also have. Buffalo Trace Distillery does also, I'm going to show you other expressions, but I also do things like the Eagle Rare, 10 years old. It's the only one I have. I don't have currently the Buffalo Trace bearing its own name. Yeah, just a disclaimer about Blanton's and its availability. Those ones are not recent bottlings, mind you. They go from 2012 to 2018. I know there's a kind of shortage, and there's question about availability and hype and everything. For some reason, those references has been, apparently, of what I hear, way more available in Europe than in the US where it was made, which is a bit weird. But yeah, so the version I was gonna speak about doesn't guarantee you, if you come across a nowadays Blanton's, so this is the disclaimer, that will be as good as those ones. Just saying. But those I tried other batches a few years after, up to 2018, let's say. I cannot guarantee you everything after 2018, but yeah, there's quite some consistency of those I tried in a bar or in festivals. And I'm gonna also speak about some collectors versions, just to show you the map. So we are there, Kentucky over here. So yeah, rather on the east. Lots of things here. We're in where is it? My God, I always forget something. I don't see it. Weird. Oh, Frankfurt. They bear a lot of European names there, like I said. I should have stopped this and double checked, sorry. So it's not where I point my name, but there, Buffalo Trace in Frankfurt. As you see, there also Versailles, Louis, I don't see Versailles there, but Louisville and other things related to the origins of bourbon. Ancient Age, they also do, and it was one of the name of the whiskey here. And you can also see the entry-level Buffalo Trace, which is there. Right. We don't need this now. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a bit of a introduction about the distillery, and then we will jump into the expression BLANTO'Ns and why it's called like that, and then we'll go to the tasting. Okay, so I'm gonna put, there's a lot of things there, so I'm gonna put links and just summarize you quickly. First, why bourbon? Why it's called bourbon? It's a tribute to the House of Bourbon, to the French House of Bourbon. I had to say that, I'm sorry. Which is especially Louis the 16th, the fifth king, and also of the House of Bourbon that goes back to the 12th century, if I'm not mistaken. It's related to the Capétien in French. And why Louis XVI and the French? Because they help the Americans to get their independence back in the days. So not gonna be long on history because there will be so many things to say. But yeah, there you have it. It's not named after the vanilla type named bourbon, but it's named after the French king, a French king. Okay, Buffalo Trace. So it's officially named, and it was, according to some, previously named Ancient Age in 1920, but it goes back to the 18th century, as I understand. And even if things are not, I chase a bit of information and a lot of contradictions in the sources of about the foundation of the distillery. Some say go back to 1870, others 1881. For the oldest, it seems more reliable information for the oldest warehouses. Their warehouses named A and B. Some say a certain Benjamin Blanton, who was seeking for gold, founded the distillery in 1849, but others say rather 1857. It was also called Old Fire Copper, OFC, in 1882. There's a big fire after that in 1870. At that time, it was the property of Colonel Edmund Hayes Taylor, and then George T. Stagg, who gave it names to a very special expression, a high-end one from the distillery, one of the most sought after straight bourbon. By the way, straight bourbon, what does it mean? It means it has to have 51% corn in it, like if you say straight rye, 51% rye. And the other grains are usually rye and malted barley. But it seems that for the recipe, and we're going to back to this later on, we have here about the BLANTO'Ns, it's the second mash bill. So it's called high rye, but we will go back to this. Yeah, Blanton's, we will go back later on to Albert Blanton. What we can say already, it's in 1897, a young man. Do we have his picture there? No, it's weird. I thought I had a picture somewhere. Never mind. His nickname was Colonel Blanton. He was one of the founder, and he rejoins the distillery at 16 years old. And he was going to do every single work type and climb the ladder within the distillery. He got, for instance, quickly responsible of the still room, then of the warehouses and the bottling hall. He's going to give his name to the flagship of the company. That we're going to see that in 1904. Distillery changed his name for George D. Stagg, and during Prohibition, the distillery is one of the rare to obtain, for the period going to 1930 to 1933, the license to produce whiskey for medicinal purposes. And among the funny labels, there's one called that was named Carlisle Whiskey Bottle in Bond, full pint, 100 proof for medicinal use. So yeah, it's something we have also in Scotland, especially with peated whiskies like Lefroy, but it's another story. But it's the same kind of things, see. Distillery is taken over in 1929 by the Shanley Distillers Corporation, who's going to renovate it in the following years, and, for instance, very important, build the Warehouse H in 1937. And why Warehouse H? Sorry, because it's the one that those whiskies come from. The Blanton's are all exclusively matured in Warehouse H. You have it. Yeah, and somebody very important. Yeah, at that time they had 7 big warehouses. Sorry. Elmer Tilly, another famous name and famous whiskey name. He joins the distillery in 1949. Becomes quickly master distiller. He's retired, but people still have use what he says about making whiskey. I hope this information is updated, by the way, but I'm not 100% sure, so sorry about that. Warehouse H is built to celebrate the 2 billions of cask produced. Distillery was rebaptized Ancient Age in 1969 up to 1999. But the most important thing, and then in 1992 taken over by the Sazerac company, and also changes again the name Buffalo Trace Distillery. Forget about that. One of the most important things to say maybe at this point is that in 1984 they do launch the Blanton's Kentucky Straight Bourbon, which will be the first single barrel bourbon ever into trade into in the markets. So 1984. Lots of things to say Buffalo Trace, because there were a lot of buffaloes migrating in that the foundation time, going into the place where the distillery is located. In 2008, distillery gets up to 6 million of casks produced, and in 2013 the distillery is named National Historic Landmark, Point d'Européen National Historique in French, so a kind of historical monument. This crazy distillery, like others, but it seems it's the biggest. I'm not 100% sure of the information, so if you have it, please tell me. It's big as 4 100 acres, which makes in our European measure 161.8 hectares, 161.8 hectare. It's the measure, which basically is half of Central Park, the park in Manhattan, New York, United States. They do a lot of different whiskies, and again, for this, I will advise you to go to my website, even if the topic is a bit old and in French. At the time I did a few years ago, so it's not super updated. The topic on the left menu, I cannot do screen shares, I'm sorry. But at the time I did this topic, I did count around 20 different brands under the ownership of Buffalo Trace. So they're ancient age, even if it doesn't seem to be produced now. I'm not sure about that. One called Benchmark, of course, Blanton's, Buffalo Trace Experimental Collection, E.H. Taylor Junior Collection, Eagle Rare, Elmer T. Lee, George T. Stagg, Hancock's Reserve, Old Charter, Pappy Van Winkle, very famous for its old 15, 20 and 23 years old, Rock Hills Farms, Sazerac Rye, Single Oak Project, Thomas H. Handy Sazerac Rye, W.L. Weller, William Larry Weller, and White Dog, and there's probably others since I did wrote this. I'm a bit long, I know. Again, and yeah, so yeah, the George T. Stagg is the one with the highest proof that can go over 70% ABV. They cannot go over 80. They have to be distilled under 80% ABV, of what I understand. In US whiskies, you often see the mention of proof instead of ABV. The easiest way to understand how it works is to multiply the ABV by 2. I will be longer another time about what that proof means. It's an old type of measure where they didn't have instruments to measure ABV. Let's go back to Colonel Blanton. So when it was called Old Fire Copper Distillery, he comes into there and he creates the original single barrel. So there's 4 expressions in the core range, by the way, and I'm going to speak after of some limited edition. One I don't have here because I used to have it and I didn't restock it a long time ago because I preferred the single barrel. It's the Special Reserve with the green label, and it's bottled at 40%. All these are bottled over 46%. By the way, for US whiskey, for those who don't know, they are not allowed when it is called straight bourbon or straight dry. They're not allowed to add E150A, so they're all uncolored. Then they chill filter or they non-chill filtered. It's not a question often asked and often answered, and it doesn't. I've never seen in any box the mention of this, but I'm not a specialist of US whiskey, I have to say. I've tried a lot, I've covered a lot, but not necessarily in depth on analysis of how it is made. So yeah, when Buffalo Trace asks him to do something special, and new range, so Colonel Blanton was remembering the special release he did for some special customers and famous people visiting the distillery, and for which they had some kind of bottle your own, let's say. So he creates a recipe. Often the recipes and the mash bills in US are secret, contrary to some other countries. So we don't know. I tried to find out, but this is secret. We don't know how much for some distilleries it is disclosed though, but disclose when you ask or when you do searches and you visit distillery, for instance. As I understand, I've been to the United States, but it was before being really involved into whiskey. I've been in 2002, and I was just starting, so I was just knowing a few brands, and this is the place where I went. The only bourbon I really had was Maker's Mark, just to let you know. A few others, but this is the first bottle I ever tried and had home. And I will cover it soon, as I recently restocked a bottle. So he selects these casks, and with a mash bill of apparently, of course, over 51% corn, but it is said 12 to 15% rye, seigle en français, and probably only that, but for other Buffalo Trace whiskies there's also malted barley in the recipe. For this one it seems it's mainly corn and rye. So if you think this is not correct information, please, if you know only, put it in the comment below. Again, this number 2 high rye, it's the name of the mash bill recipe. Select cask from 6 to 8 years old or to 8 to 9 years old. Again, this is not completely, this is not secure information. This is what I found in my searches about this. The cask, of course, like often in American whiskey, are virgin oak, American white oak, Quercus alba, as we say in Latin. This recipe is also used for Ancient Age, Elmer Tilly and Rockside Farms brands, just to let you know. Colonel Blanton will retire in 52 and die in 1959. And the distillery, who had around 44 warehouses, has between the moment where he started there at 16 years old to his death, they did extend it from 44 to 144 warehouses. This is amazing. The whole property is so big that it's so. In the core range, we have the Special Reserve, like I said, green label. We have the original single barrel, the cream label. Then we have the Gold Edition, which is the engraved. There's no label, but it's engraved in or silk screened rather in the bottle. And there is the Straight from the Barrel, which is a barrel proof. And of course, while the single barrel is 46.5, so 93 proof, the Gold Edition is 51.5 ABV. No, it's not this one. Okay, and so it's 103 proof. The Straight from the Barrel, this one is 63.5, 127 proof, but it goes usually from 62% ABV to 65, which is 125 to 130. It's the average. Some limited expressions that are for different markets. There's a silver, black, and single barrel red. Now, I'm going to try to show you quickly, and then I have to speak about the cork. A few expressions, and I'm going to rely on my old collector's catalogs. Where is it? I saw it earlier on. Yeah, this is what's crazy. This is one called 111 proof, 55.5, 2,222 only bottles, and here's what it looks like back into 2010. Yeah, they did. La Maison du Whisky did a lot of store picks, and they still do. So I had the occasion to try some. Unfortunately, not to buy some, but for instance, his one called 100 Proof. There was an exclusive for La Maison du Whisky France in 2009. So this bears a black label. Some important to mention. No, this one is more recent. Yeah, this one has 3 exclusive, which are crazy. 2 are famous and sought after, and I saw them in some collections online. This is 2015 La Maison du Whisky Whisky Live Paris catalog. There you can see 3 different, beautiful, especially the farm and the edition, the race. Kentucky's edition, the race, which are interesting. I did try those once, but I don't have, I'm sorry, a very big memory about them. Not that they were bad, but they were tasted within others. But I have better memories of, let me say, those one that was in 2000. King Black Label 56% ABV. It's in 2000. Doesn't say. Come on. I thought in 2012. Let me see. 2012. Okay. So here it is, and you also have from another house, so you can see the symbol of the kings there. The French kings, but also you can see a rare Rittenhouse rye, it seems. There's also a Jack Daniels. So yeah, those are quite sought after, if I may say. And these are the 2, some of the most beautiful they did. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, the pictures are quite small. Too bad, because those 2, Paris by Night and Paris by Day, are really have really nice labels, I think, and they're great whiskies. I've tried them. The Paris by Day was bottled at 50%, while the Paris, so 100 proof, while the by Night was bottled as 60%, so 120 proof. Okay, enough talking. Not sure you, oops, needed all these infos, but you know, those catalogs had treasures. And if you go, for instance, let me see this one, and it will be a topic for another topic. You can see 2 exceptional Nikata Tsuru 21 years old for France Madeira wood finish, and one just called non-chill filtered. And this year, 2015, you could really see some exceptional whiskies. We have here just, and I shut up. No comments. Anyway, enough of this. So we're gonna now jump into the tastings. I'm afraid we're gonna be super long again, but it's the way it goes, right? And in case, as I'm not 100% sure I'm good, I tried calibrating whiskey for that, but have some doubts, but I can rely on my notes. So we're gonna try this now, which is the single barrel. Again, this is not colored. And where is my so you can see the color. So it's quite it's not amber. Yeah, it's amber, but it has some gold reflections. Let's see viscosity wise. The legs are quite sticking at the beginning to the glass, but then they fade quickly. I have no mention. This is, I apologize, I don't have the info. If you have it, I'm interested. I have no info if it's chill filtered or not. It says individual selected filtered, but we don't know. I didn't found any info to precise more about that. I'm sorry. My God, half an hour already. And I didn't use all the infos I have, believe me. On the nose, this is typically a Buffalo Trace, but I would say more Blanton's. For instance, the Eagle Rare comes across a bit more oaky for me, at least this batch. This is really those juicy, fruity notes that comes across, wrapped in the baking spices, what I call American spices, not initially, but clove, cinnamon, and nutmeg, and of course loads of vanilla and caramel. Yeah, I would say maybe on, and this fruit, this is like, you know, prune and let me check something, just a second. I have to put, yeah, sorry, I was not sure of the word. Damson, this is the word I was looking for. So kind of prune from Damas in Syria. It's something that comes across. This is not necessarily really floral, but there's some as if it was some heady floral in there. What did I wrote? Yeah, sweet spices. I forgot to mention, but you have the details here. My bottle is from 2018. Rick is the name of the modern racks that jumps 6 to 10 high, I think. Cask. So Rick, it's a US name instead of rack, and it's the same signification. And rack 21. Bottled by hand. You have also the barrel number. You have everything. That's real cool. So yeah. Okay, on the palate now. Cheers, because we are in the US today. Whoa. There's something really that I like about this, is the kind of noble oak, which I like to name the good bourbon and good. There's a kind of noble oak which is, so it's not sandalwood, but it's a kind of course there's a filtration. That's not, I don't think there's maple charcoal like for Tennessee whiskey, for instance, in there, but there's some kind of things like that, which is very rounded. Even if you can feel the spice is 46.5. So, but I realize, I apologize now again, I forgot to mention the very particular cork story, and this one is, they all bear a letter. I got wrong information until I dug a bit more into websites and YouTube channels. Some also have to say giving non-correct information about the corks, saying there are 7. But I really did search and found some shops that sell the replicas of the horse, the race horse riders there, and they say, and they show there are 8 positions. So if you buy, you can also buy it separately. This is a race, so they're in different positions, and from being static, ready to go to, where is it? I think there was disclosed in there, to gallop. That's it. Yeah, 8 letters, 8 positions, from racer on horse at the stop to winning racer holding his fist up, letter S. So all the 8 corks, they do BLANTON'S. So they describe the letters, the positions. It shows the position of the horse, but each letter is showcasing the name of the whiskey. And also forgot to say every bottle is hand labeled and the cork protections is hand waxed, and I forgot to show you. Let me find it. Why it's not there? Damned. It's always when you prepare things you think you thought of everything that you forgot. Okay, forget about this. Greg, you will never be able to do something normally. Okay, never mind. So let me show you, for those who wish to buy a bottle of BLANTON'S. So basically, I didn't do it like it should. I can apologize for the time I'm losing there. There you have it. So you have basically 2 of these, if I can sort this out. Okay. You have basically those 2 things there. You grab those 2 and you turn, and this is the way you're gonna really get to open your bottle without damaging anything. So here's one of them. Okay, so go back to the palette now, where I found caramel. Noble notes, like I say, so some macadamia and pecan notes, for instance. I get also some dates, some cooked fruits, apricot, even a hint of cranberry, so even some red fruit. There's something that reminds me of some old cognac, especially from come on. It's a shame I never Cordon Bleu from Martel, sorry. Cordon Bleu from Martel has this kind of musk notes that's quite heady and almost floral notes. It comes from the wood though. So yeah, very typical this. Okay, and yeah, there's some maple. I wrote maple, so I gotta be. So it's very intricate profile, very seductive, sweet, yet being in a bed of spices, but nothing is overpowering. And a real beautiful harmony, at least in this batch, between the oak, the spices, the caramels, sweet caramels, the flowers, and now let's try it with a. So quite balanced, beautiful. There's no sour notes like in some other brands. There's no musty oak. This is really super well crafted, I have to say. This one I got recently. It was an old dusty stock. They didn't sell for some reason. And I want to mention I got all in a supermarket, in a big supermarket, hypermarket as we call here, within the mall. And I even got some, I couldn't stock too much, but I had the opportunities to buy 2 or 3 because they had some discount at some point, and they even mistake for the straight from the barrel. So very harmonious. Few drops. Okay, they're highlighting more nutmeg and cloves now. Still greatly balanced. I'm keeping this rating. Bear in mind I'm rating up to 100, so it's a bit higher than other reviewers. Let's say if I pick serious reviewers I follow for decades, so Serge Valentin, it's something like 4 to 6 points more than him on many things. Sometimes we're exact same rates, but most often they're 4 to 6. Because it doesn't give 100 to 100 to anyone, while I do. The highest rate he has given is 98, I think. If not mistaken, it was a Brora, but I have to double check. But yeah, I give this a 90 out of 100, so quite a great score already. We're going to move to the gold edition, which is they're all limited, by the way, but for this one I thought it was a French edition, but it is not. But it's something that's apparently today difficult to get hold of or too expensive. Forgot to mention all of these I got around 50 euros. You're gonna be shocked, but normally the straight from the barrel was around 60 to 80, but there was a strange discount, so I had it for 40, which is insane. I know I could have bought 2, but I've waited. There was a time there was a lot of Blanton's available, and you didn't know there was going to have some shortage. Same for Scottish brands. So you were saying, okay, I have this one, I'm happy with this one, and it's true, I have a lot of bottles, so I don't always think of restocking. Here is the gold edition, which is slightly darker, but in fact they say, of what I found, it's the same recipe, but just 51.5, so just a few points more of ABV, 103 proof. You have it there, you have all the details. Anyway, it's from 2012, this December 2012, barrel 374, 6, yeah. Rick 55, of course, warehouse H, and yeah, probably around 8 to 9 years, I think, this one. So this one has some air in it. I didn't even try to push it but so it's a bit more mellow than the other that was opened a month ago. Yeah, same beautiful profile, maybe more, even more flowery, caramelly. Yeah, at the beginning there's some maples as well, some candied dried fruits. At the beginning there was some kind of nail varnish note that was a bit strong, and then it was quickly getting off for the best. Yeah, so basically the same nose as the other, but a bit more enhanced. Let's go to the palate. Cheers. And the legs are sticking more, of course. This one's really my favorite of the 3, I think. Oh, this is all what I love in a bourbon, and all I love in Blanton's. So this melting of caramel, lots of caramel there, toffee, but also those dark fruits, and also the damson, the dates, so this kind of oriental feel. I forgot to mention in there's kind of oriental, Middle East, if you prefer, scent or feel to those 3 bourbons which makes it for me more seductive. So quite complex, very melted, very elegant as well. Let's get another sip. And this one, the cinnamon is maybe dominating. And just behind you have the cloves, and on third the nutmeg. Well, it was not much the case in the other. I mean, there were three, but in a different mix. Also, this beautiful maple wood note, but of course less overpowering than in Jack Daniels because of the Lincoln County process. So it's more refined, more elegant, but it's still bold. It's really a bold whiskey. Let's put some water in there. Some mention mentholated note. I don't get them. Mint, hint of mint. I don't know. Yeah, I see, but it's not like in Summerize or in no. Don't know what to say. I just love it. Everything is really super melted together. Heady flowers, caramel, dark dried fruits, the prunes, the vanilla is on the more on the background here. I think the cask is probably older. The oak is super well made, super tamed. You don't have this sometimes really fresh cut wood that you have in sawdust and stuff that you have in some bourbons. Honestly, and also cognacs and rums, that I don't like this note. So yeah, really beautiful here. I did the note. The rating is quite old and it's very high. It's difficult to judge a bottle that's in the half now, but the highest rating it had was 94.5. Today, as it is, I'll rather go for 93, but it's with my scale. If you were looking to Serge or other scales, I bet the rating would be probably around 88, something like that. I'm trying to be the most I cannot be objective. You can do this objectively. It's a subjective thing, tasting. Okay. Now we're moving to the straight from the barrel. Forgot to mention the boxes. So this was the gold edition box, and this is the straight from the barrel box. Where at the time I had some that were showcasing the figure of Colonel Blanton's, but I couldn't find quickly a picture now. It took me some time to go into my archives for the limited edition though, but yeah, so this one I bought in in 2014, like I said, for 40 euros instead of 68. This would be crazy price now, but yeah. Now, color-wise, strangely, it's a bit lighter, while it should be more concentrated, but it's another barrel. Now, legs-wise, you won't see them, but they're super tight, and they stick to the glass a lot of times. You won't be able, yeah, maybe a bit. They're sticking to the glass quite some time. There you have it. So that means a high ABV. My guess about the filtration is that's a soft filtration, a light one, but I might be wrong. So this one is from 2013. You can see all the details here. Barrel 89, warehouse arch, of course, Rick 47, 63.5 ABV. That means 127 proof, and this is the ABV 63.5, where usually, by the way, Scotch distilleries did fill their barrels, their casks, in order also to be able to swap some with other distilleries for their blended whiskies, for instance. So it's not legal, but it's a common practice that appeared around, I believe, the beginning of the 2000s, year 2000 or 2005 maybe, because before Diageo, when they were at DCL, they were used to fill very high their whiskies, their casks, and for instance all the rare malt collections were filled over 63, 64, 70 sometimes or more percent ABV. So that's why you can see, and also the racked warehouses that maintain a high proportion of alcohol, contrarily to the dunnage ones. But so that's why you can see so many high ABVs in very old whiskies from the rare malt selections. But it was also the same for some distilleries, for many distilleries. Otherwise, you will never see a 40 years old Glenfarclas bottle at 60% ABV, right? Impossible. Also, forgot to mention, in the US, when you fill a cask, there's a good chance, if you heat your warehouses or if you just have the climate, which is sometimes extreme, and like this warehouse, by the way, H is made of iron and not brick and wood. Sorry, wood. No, I will never do in wood. I got the info somewhere, and I forgot to see where it is. I'm sorry. So yeah, the only thing you have to know, it's built in iron, so it probably maintains more differences between summer and winter, so it accelerates a bit the aging. That's what and can increase the ABV, which is also an American particularity. Well, I'm summarizing. Whoa, this one is a monster. I mean, tasted neat. It will kill your microbes, bacterias, and but responsible drinking. Be very cautious with this one. If I had more time, I will tell you a special story about this one someday in a bar, but we're already meeting the hour mark, so I'm gonna lose viewers there already. Beautiful, This one is more spices driven, of course, less caramel, less seductive. It's the oak, but also the oak through the spices that talk, but we still have the seductive style of Blanton's. I will open it to make it more palatable. Of course, they're all single barrels, so they're all different. Don't expect to have the same exact note that I have here, please. So take all what I say tasting wise with reservations, please. But I'm super happy to cover an American whiskey. It's been a long time I didn't do a big topic about it. I have other whiskies to cover. Eagle Rare I didn't. Rittenhouse Rye, but I'm going to do special things about the rye this year. I'm waiting because I need to have 1, 2, maybe 3 maximum other rye whiskies in my collection to really do a big rundown that will be going over the countries question. So will be an international rye video, whiskey video. It's more civilized, but with bourbons, sometimes if you want water, you're gonna get more spices and oak. It's a bit what's happening there. So this one's more spicy, of course, but is also more powerful. But the oak is not so big as, for instance, in the Stagg Juniors. I tried. It's really palatable. It's really balanced. Balance is probably one of the best word describing Blanton's bourbon. Balance and elegance. Yeah, this is beautiful. Don't know if I will keep the... No. Probably 93, 92, 93 for this one. And yeah, very special in this one, I even have the bottle number, which is rare. And yeah, I'm really happy. These are beautiful whiskeys, beautiful bottles. It's really one of my... I'm really happy about even if I didn't manage to get the very numerous, probably over 12 I did count, if I go back to the probably 12 store picks, probably just for France over the years. The Chronicles, they did 4 different of the Chronicles in 2018. They did Cellar Book at 48%, Big Cellar Book, French Connection, Single Barrel 9 for the 6th anniversary of La Maison de Whisky, Conquête, the Conquête series also. This is crazy. They did a lot of things. Sometimes they did, I have to say, push too much the prices because there were store picks. Sorry, I have to say La Maison de Whisky liked to do that. Rent alert. Why, if you do store pick exclusives, you add 20 to 30% of the price automatically? Please don't. That's it. Okay, so I've been very long. I hope it was not too... It was okay, and you liked the video. Please hit the like button. I don't say it often. Subscribe, etc., and comment. By liking, subscribing, and commenting, and also share it with other people, you are helping the channel to grow and to be referenced. Simple as that. If you like the video, but you don't click the like button, you won't see it come often on proposals of Google's, of YouTube, because it is not liked enough and referenced enough. Therefore, also, if you want to know the other videos coming in, click the notification bell, selecting the all notifications, so you will be aware of next videos. Thank you very much. I hope it was interesting, even if it's long, and thank you so much for watching, and see you soon.